Welcome to Thriving Together, Stories from CCEJ, a podcast from the California Conference for Equality and Justice. Our mission is to educate and empower youth and adults to lead change for equity and justice in our communities. I'm Daniel Solis, your host. In this episode, CCEJ staff Vanessa Rodriguez is joined by Khalil Zeigler from Long Beach Forward, a nonprofit committed to providing accessible community resources to all. Listen in as they discuss community building through collaboration and fundraising for the annual Long Beach Gives campaign. The goal of Long Beach Gives is to inspire individuals and businesses in our community to support the exemplary work of nonprofits like Long Beach Forward and CCEJ who are making a difference in Long Beach. Let's listen.
Hi everyone, thank you for tuning in. My name is Vanessa Rodriguez. I use she, her pronouns, and I am CCEJ's Development and Marketing Manager. And I am joined today by Khalil from Long Beach Forward. Khalil, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello everybody, my name is Khalil Zeigler. I am the Development Manager at Long Beach Forward. My pronouns are he and him. Great to be here.
Thank you. So today, we can start with a check-in question, but today's episode is really focused on the communities that we build through participating in an event such as Long Beach Gives. So the check-in question is, what has been your favorite Long Beach Gives memory?
That's an excellent question. I was kind of thinking about my first Long Beach Gives, which was about a week after I got hired. But I'm going to say that one of my favorite things about Long Beach Gives are the welcome parties or the kickoff parties. They are some of the best times when we talk about these fundraising things, because it allows all of these different people to come together and hang out and really get into the spirit of Long Beach Gives. And we all know that fundraising can sometimes be a little stressful, but it's great to get together and talk with various people from different organizations and just really have fun before we get started.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember my first Long Beach Gives was actually last year. Mm-hmm. So that the splash brunch that was put on by Long Beach Forward was a real highlight, because it was one of those moments that I looked around, I'm like, oh my gosh, there are a lot of nonprofit organizations with a lot of different service areas. And it was really cool to just kind of be in that space, hear what everybody else has going on for the event, and make connections. And I actually got the bright idea at that exact brunch last year to put on a CCEJ dog show, which
that's beautiful.
Was really great. It was called Pause for Justice.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And if you are listening and haven't seen it, it's on our YouTube page. Please check it out, CCEJ on YouTube. So for those of you listening who may not know what Long Beach Gives is, it is very similar to Giving Tuesday, where Long Beach gives other organizations, other nonprofit organizations, the platform to raise money for that specific day. And it's really designed to show how Long Beach can show up for their organizations and for causes that are important to them. Khalil, do you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, I mean, the amazing part about Long Beach Gives is it's not just the organizations who are doing the fundraising, anybody who is connected with organizations. So whether they be volunteers, mentees or mentors from different organizations, or anybody who has been impacted by these nonprofit organizations can show up and say, hey, go to this page, give to this organization. It's a day where everybody gets to do that, and it is the biggest fundraising day for a lot of smaller nonprofits here in the city.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I love that, just speaking for CCEJ and how we use Long Beach Gives as a campaign for fundraising, but it's also a really big day to kind of celebrate the community, mm-hmm.
The
people that we serve, being able to showcase, like, this is what we do, this is where your money would be going. You know, you'd be funding youths going to camp, you'd be funding youth going to restorative circle dialogues, things like that. And then the third thing, which is also really fun and exciting, is like it gives staff also like a really fun day to kind of come in, do some activities, which we'll go into later, because very curious to hear what Long Beach Forward has going on for Long Beach Gives.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned something that we've done in the past. We did the Splash Brunch, which was a kickoff event, and it's one of everybody's favorite things to do when it comes to Long Beach Gives, because it gives them an opportunity to hang out with people in other nonprofits that they haven't seen in a while, or maybe are in different positions and they don't get to connect throughout their work. It's a fun time to relax and kick off things before we start to reach out to our different bases.
Yeah, so I just kind of want to give, shine to Long Beach Forward as an organization. Do you want to tell us a little bit more about the mission, maybe some success stories and things like that?
Yeah, Long Beach Forward is a organization that has a mission of building community knowledge, leadership, and power all throughout the city, and we make sure that we are making it as accessible as possible. So a lot of our events or our training programs are completely free to the public. And we do that because we believe that race and income should not determine one's future. We want everybody to be able to be healthy and thriving. So we engage the community in a variety of different ways. One thing that is most known about the organization is that we are one of the main hubs for Best Start Central Long Beach, which creates programs for children between the ages of 0 and 5 based on the community's needs. And we also like to help community engage with their local politicians by going to city council meetings, going to City Hall to make sure that our policies are made for the community and with the community's input. Some of our programs that are free to the public are our LB Rooted, which are a training series that helps people get organized and go into organizing for different movements, and so that they can make policy change in their city. Or Bigly, which helps people get involved in boards and commissions so that they are a voice for their smaller community. And all of these things are free and open to the public. So we always have these programs happen every single year.
Some of the things that I wanted to highlight as you were talking, were like accessible community knowledge and like kind of really wanting the community to thrive. And I think there's a lot of similarities between CCEJ and what we do and Long Beach Forward and what you do. And really, I think it all kind of culminates really nicely together in an event such as Long Beach Gives, where, you're kind of almost looking for that kind of collaboration to partner and say, yeah, we're great, but look at all these other great organizations, and to all kind of be united under the September 19th this year type of event, of where we're all able to kind of echo each other's missions and values and things like that towards the greater community.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's exactly why for Long Beach Gives in the past, we have done a lot of virtual chats and hangouts with folks around specific community issues, such as racial justice, such as language justice. And I think that it's really important to have a collective voice and get folks from different organizations or different backgrounds to talk about these things, because one person cannot speak for the entire city, and having folks like you at CCEJ come through and hang out with us and see what you're up to is really important for creating a sustainable future.
Mm-hmm. And, I think a big part of, in both of our roles in development for a nonprofit in Long Beach, like those are all very like specific identities that a lot of nonprofits have that role. Obviously, it's fundraising. And to have an event like this where it's kind of a little bit maybe more lighthearted and we're able to just kind of showcase it in some fun ways, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so tell me a little bit maybe more about like some fun activities that might be coming down the pipeline.
Yeah. So this year for Long Beach Gives, we have taken a step back. In the past, we've done a bunch of like live events. We had a dog talk, and where we launched a campaign for our executive director's dog, who was running for city council, which was hilarious. It's on our YouTube. You should check it out. Move LB Forward. We have sit-downs with community members, such as our Hot Ones, where we sat down with various members of the community who made spicy salsas and then had conversations. But this year, we are doing something a little bit different. We are really feeling the game show vibe. And so we're getting really cheesy with it. We're going to have a little telethon. We're going to have some raffles. And because we are moving into a new office, we had to figure out how we can do things around the move that would also celebrate community togetherness, but not necessarily be too much of a lift for our team. So once we move everything out of our office, we're going to be having folks come over for one final celebration for all of the things that we've done in Long Beach Forward in the office that we had before. And then afterwards, we'll be having another party to celebrate going into the new office and thinking about what is going to be happening post Long Beach Gives. Mm-hmm. So we're going to be starting sending out invitations for that in the next couple of weeks.
Awesome. Yeah. And I'm sure everything can be found on your website.
Yes, absolutely. Everything can be found on our website. We'll be also hosting our telethon on our YouTube channel, which is at Move LB Forward. What are you going to be doing this year?
Similarly, we are wanting to step back from the live events. Last year, like I said, it was my first Long Beach Give, so I was very ambitious.
I get that.
Very ambitious. We had we were going live on Facebook every hour on the hour from 9 to 5.
That sounds like a lot.
It was a lot, and it was a lot of fun, but definitely a lot of planning. So we're definitely trying to scale back this year and kind of focus in on like the specific things we want to highlight. One of the things that I'm actually very excited about in an effort to promote our new conflict mediation service, Uproot and Emerge, we are deciding to facilitate an online conflict mediation between our staff pets.
Oh.
So it's going to be very Brady Bunch-esque is what I'm thinking in my mind of the little squares, but instead of, Jan and all the other Brady Bunch people who I don't know, it'll be our pets. Yeah. So, we've got some cats, some dogs. I've got a lead on a fish who might be making a cameo. Is exciting. We're definitely kind of leaning more into like pre-production video things, and then spending the day of really like interacting more so with other organizations on social media. So that's where I'll be behind the scenes on Facebook and Instagram all day, which is, yes, I get paid to be on Facebook and Instagram all day, right. So that's nice. So that's like one of the things we're looking at.
Oh, that sounds beautiful.
So yeah, just kind of finding ways to like have fun with it, be silly, just kind of tap into that like community building space, and I guess just trusting the process that like the donations will kind of flow in from that.
Yeah. I love that we both have leaned into this idea of like 80s and 90s nostalgia. I think the Brady Bunch was the 80s. Maybe it was earlier?
I have no idea.
Either way.
But it is, yes, vintage.
Yes, I love the idea of vintage. And that's where we got the idea of like the telethon, right? It's really based around two key game shows, and that is Bob Barker's The Price is Right. The Price is Right.
Amazing.
Yes.
Ba-da-ba.
Yes. The Price is Right, and the one with the Wheel of Fortune.
Yes.
We're going to have a amazingly dressed up game show host who will be the host for our wheel spinning, and it's going to be a fun time.
Oh my gosh, I am very into game shows. It's funny you mentioned The Price is Right. We had a staff meeting last week, and it was led by the development team, and so when we lead the meetings, it's more so about budgets and like fundraising and what we do, right? So we did a couple rounds of The Price is Right, where we just put like, what's the cost of hosting our Building Bridges camp twice a year, and kind of getting the staff to understand like these are the costs of the things that we're doing. So this is why our role in fundraising and development is important, as well as everybody else's, right? Because it kind of takes everybody to make the magic happen.
Yeah, and that's exactly where we got the idea as well. We did something very similar. Our administrative team, we got together and we talked about the various costs of putting on these programs for free for the community. So like a lot of things we think about should be very affordable can be incredibly expensive. So putting on a training series and feeding everybody that comes to that training series each time gets a little expensive. It's funny, people get really shocked when you tell them how much it costs to buy pizzas for 25 people. And those are the type of things that we were out here fundraising for, exactly as you said. That is why we go to events like Long Beach Gives.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the amount of time that I have spent trying to figure out, like, okay, if we're ordering from Green Olive, how many kebabs are people going to eat? How many should we order? You know, so that it's not too much, but that we have enough for everyone. I'm sure development people everywhere are like, yep, snapping, relatable. Can you share a little bit about like where exactly do the funds go for, like specifically the fundraiser of Long Beach Gives? Yeah. You know, maybe we can talk about our goals and like where does that money go? You know, I'm sure like the public wants to know.
Yeah, I mean that's always the biggest question when we get these fundraisers going. And one of the things that we, especially for Long Beach Gives, the way that we frame it, and I think this is very important, is for folks who aren't in the development world to understand that a lot of grants are very restrictive about where you can spend the money. And so that means that while the program may be funded, the odds and ends that go around the program are not necessarily funded through those grants. So the way that we fundraise when it comes to Long Beach Gives is we are looking for flexible dollars to spend on these things such as food, transportation, translation work, so that we can continue to make all of our events incredibly accessible for the community, because we all know that there are institutional barriers that stop folks from participating. So even if somebody has the day off work, maybe they don't have childcare for that event, and that is stopping them from participating in a Best Start leadership team meeting. Well, Long Beach Forward uses the flexible dollars from Long Beach Gives to make sure that we have childcare on site so that the parents can have their voice heard, so that they can talk about all of the things that they need to help their children survive and thrive. Mm-hmm, yeah. Those are the main things that we use these dollars for. How about yourself at CCEJ?
Yeah, I think that's so real of, you know, the grants being very restrictive where you're applying. Shout out to Jesse Needham, who does all of that work heroically, amazingly. Yeah, you know, the restrictive nature of it is a little tough. So we do use, you know, fundraisers like Long Beach Gives, like you said, for those flexible dollars. And, you know, it could look like a lot of different things. The following week, actually, from Long Beach Gives is United Against Hate Week. Mm-hmm. So we put on a community care breakfast, and that's totally free to the public, you know. So having those kind of discretionary funds to make sure that we're able to hold these dialogues and these spaces, you know. We work a lot with youth. Youth like to snack. So it also kind of goes towards like our Smart and Final bill, or things that I guess to fill in the gaps of like the heavy duty work of like the trainings and like, you know, staff time. All of that stuff is kind of covered through grants and that and other avenues of fundraising. But yeah, like a fun freewheeling kind of fundraiser that's primarily focused online and through social media. You know, we use it not only for the dollars, but definitely for like the social media capital. Like we're getting tons of impressions and reaches and likes and followers through this event every year. Just like a statistic, when I first started, the reach of our Instagram page was, I think, like maybe 1,000 people. And I checked it. This was in April of 2023, and I checked it for last month, July of 2024, and our reach had literally quadrupled to like 4,000 people. And I was like, yes, I was so amazing. Excited, like nerd moment to like be excited about like the data, right? Because you don't know like all 4,000 of those people. We didn't get 4,000 likes, but to know that our content was kind of reaching out that far, it kind of like makes all of the planning of it worth it.
Right. And it expands on your organization's mission, right? Those folks who are looking at the content are more likely to come to a racial convening breakfast or come to the Breakfast Against Hate. I'm sorry, what was that?
Yeah, the United Against Hate.
United Against Hate breakfast. And that is such an amazing thing. And that's why we do what we do here. I mean, because we are key to supporting the mission by making sure that outreach happens, right? I mean, people can't come to the organization if they don't know about it. And so your job is important. And I'm glad that you're really nerding out about it, because it's such an essential thing for this organization. And just to add to that, our communications manager, Diana, she does amazing work on our TikTok, Move LB Forward. It combines the idea of informing the community of all of the things that are going on, whether it be political or in Long Beach in particular, with humor. So she has a bunch of TikToks that are about what voting is going to be like. And we all know that it's a very big election year this year. So she's going to have more voting guides on our TikTok. But there's also things like what we would bring if the building was on fire, and they're hilarious. I'm sure she would love for you all to come by and check those out.
Amazing. Yeah, definitely we'll have to check that out. Okay, well, yeah, Khalil, like obviously we could sit here talking about fundraising forever, but we are around that mark. So just to close this out, tell us more about where we can get involved, Long Beach Forward, where to go, website, all of those plugs.
Yeah, you can go to our website at lbforward.org, or you can follow us on social media at MoveLBForward, all one word. Every platform, we're talking Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all Move LB Forward, one word.
Awesome. All right, and with that, I'll go ahead and encourage everyone to visit longbeachgives.org. Hit the search bar. You can find Long Beach Forward. You can find CCEJ. There's also a button there to fundraise on behalf of either one of our organizations or any organization that really speaks to you. So thank you all for listening, and we're out.
Yeah, have a great day.
See you.
Thank you again to Vanessa and Khalil for sharing their experiences and perspectives on the power of collaboration through Long Beach Gives Day. Mark your calendars for Long Beach Gives on Thursday, September 19th, 2024. You don't need to live in Long Beach or even California to donate. To support CCJ and Long Beach Forward for Long Beach Gives, visit longbeachgives.org and search for us by name. CCJ's podcast is sponsored in part by LA vs. Hate, a coalition of partners led by the LA County Human Relations Commission, who are committed to preventing and ending hate in our communities. Once again, I'm Daniel Solis, and don't forget to subscribe to our podcast to hear more stories of thriving together.